So hi everyone, welcome all our Facebook audience to our first session of our series e-commerce tips from peers. This is going to be a monthly series where we are going to invite entrepreneurs from developing and less developed countries who are selling online to provide you with tips and innovative approaches that can inspire you to sell online, since now selling online is a must if you're a business owner. And who is our featured entrepreneur this month? We have with us Teresa Lubano, who is the creative mind behind Shop Nanjala. So Shop Nanjala is an e-commerce shop for home design and handmade gifts in Kenya. Teresa is working with artisans in Kenya to produce and deliver high quality products, which are handmade for both women and men. Teresa is also the winner of our e-commerce story pitch contest last year. And she has a wonderful story to share and a lot of knowledge that you can benefit from. So we are happy to have you here, Teresa. Welcome to our first series. And we're looking forward to learn about an authentic story with a great impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Hello, my name is Teresa Nanjala Lubano. I'm the creative director and founder of Shop Nanjala. Happy to be here. This is my first live event. So I hope I'll be able to sort of share my tips and in a very easy way so that even a layperson who doesn't quite understand what e-commerce is all about is able to pick something. So what I'd prepared for you today was 7 points. And these are e-commerce business tips that I think are important and that I actually learned in my journey. So I'll start with the first one. The first one is, not many people know this, but e-commerce is actually logistics. You're in the business of logistics. I think that's the first important thing that everyone needs to know. And I'll just give a little story. When I started my company, I thought it was just, I would only think about the products we would be selling on the platform. So we started with plants and we thought we were just gonna, think about plants and the rest would be easy. However, 4 years in, and particularly when the pandemic struck, we started seeing more conversions simply because more people were at home. They were actually thinking of now improving their home. They're looking at the environment. So they're looking for either plants and home decor. And this traction was a problem because the business was set up to only deliver within Nairobi. Our partners could only deliver within Nairobi and its environs. But we actually started seeing people shopping from all over the country, from Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Bomet, Malindi, Nakuru. And it was shocking. It was like, okay, so how do we deal with this? So I think, so why I'm saying logistics is your business when you have an e-commerce platform is because not only is delivery a problem, you also start seeing the basket size going bigger. So what we also saw that we needed to also start looking at scaling, sort of having larger packaging. So packaging became an issue. So we started asking ourselves questions. How do you securely move fragile plants across the country? Because it's a very different ball game. What partners were bold enough to carry our open packages because we couldn't fold the plants because of crushing them. So we started looking for partners, and in this market, it's pretty difficult. Some would say no, others would say yes, and it has been a very interesting journey. So luckily, we were able to scale across the country, and now we're happy to say that we have an operations lead to just ease the burden, who actually now manages the inventory, the shipping, and ensuring that the products get to their customers without hassles, right? We also have gotten a packaging that's bigger where we can actually package our products in bigger packaging. So we are not as efficient as we would like to be in terms of, you can never quite get it 100%. But I think it's a point to note that when you get into e-commerce, you really need to know how big your market is. Otherwise, it can really be a headache. So that's one tip. The second tip is, and I think this one, everyone has heard about it. Content is indeed king. Content is king. And I'd like to just say thanks to ITC Ecom Connect and Charicom. In the first quarter, we ramped up our digital marketing. And we did this very interestingly. So for one, I didn't know anything besides boosting posts. I don't know if all of you just boost posts, because that's where I was. I was just boosting posts. But we moved from boosting posts to actually posting ads. Those are two totally different things. And one thing about posting ads is advertising actually has more traction. We've seen it in Q1, in quarter one, and it was astonishing. So I must say, for us to have gotten to have made that jump, we did a couple of mini trainings with Charicom, a wonderful team in Germany who helped us sort of understand what Google Analytics is all about by us opening our own Google Ads account. We started exploring on doing search ads and display ads. We also started understanding that analytics had to be our friend, right? So something we had never really known previously about. Like we were just boosting our posts and we're thinking we're doing mad advertising. So anyway, so at first, however, and I remember we started doing ads in February, we saw nothing. We actually didn't see much traction. In fact, we were questioning ourselves. We're like, are these ads really working? But in like 2-3 weeks, there was an explosion on our website. You know, we went from weekly sales to daily sales, like overnight. So I think my advice is, and this is just to urge everyone who's interested in growing their e-commerce store, to start looking at using the social media tools, because indeed they're very intelligent. Tools such as adding pixels to your Facebook ads, using Google tags when you're actually doing Google ads, because what happens is there's this tracking that happens on your website. And then, you know, you're able to sort of see the numbers grow. And another thing I'd like to mention about just proclaiming that content is king, you need to keep refreshing your content. And of course, put out nice pieces of communication. So it's not a question of just what you do primarily on a post where you just, you know, randomly put something, you know. I think the idea is to actually plan it, have a campaign, do proper copy, you know, don't have mistakes on it, have beautiful photography, because it actually adds up. The other thing is, we noticed part of content is king, right? Everyone knows content is king. Part of this is that um, we were then, we also had this beautiful dashboard, right? The Google Analytics, the Google Ads dashboard is a wonderful one. In fact, I'm surprised that they have a beautiful app, because it's easier to see on our phone, where we were able to now also glean some finer details about our customers' buying habits and what they were interested in. For example, we noticed in March that our customers loved our sale. We had a 25% off sale. They loved it. We had customers coming in to shop. I remember those customers who came not once, twice, but 3 times, shopping within the same week, because they just loved the fact that they were getting value. And there was also a double whammy, because we also had an offer where if you shop for goods worth over approximately $50, you actually got free shipping. So I think we also learned. So essentially, each campaign will teach you something. And I think that's what's important. And that's what you need to keep your eye on. And finally, something else about content is king is we actually sort of, what's it called? We actually started seeing that, you know what? You don't need to spend much. Like with a budget of say $200, you're able, that's a month, you're able to split that budget between Google Ads and Facebook, and you will actually see the earnings coming into double or triple numbers. So for example, if your budget is approximately $100 a month, you're able to actually see, sales of like $300 or even more. So I think that was really a good thing to see. And mine is just to say that, you know what, We are really sort of religiously watching Google Ad tutorials. We're learning new features. We're doing, we're listening to the best practices because they have very good examples, and also just inspiring content from the people who are doing those tutorials so that we're able to learn, to pick the learnings and continuously grow our business. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is have a digital marketing calendar. I know this one is sort of a pain point, but it makes sense. Every month, plan to know what you're going to do on social media, because before we used to do lazy posting. I think you know what lazy posting is. It's as and when you think about it, you're like, oh, I have some content here, let me share. I think, but earlier this year, we started being deliberate about what we're posting daily. So we, for example, for us, we do 4 stories a day and perhaps one interesting, genuine post on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And that actually sort of helps because you're always, with the customers, you're behaving like a human being. You're always communicating to them. We also hired an intern to help us with the graphics on the webs, to do web banners so that they're always fresh, and of course to help us with the social media. So I think hiring an intern to do some of the graphics really helps, because then you're able to keep up with your calendar. Otherwise you could just have a big poster with a calendar and not do anything about it, because it could be overwhelming. So mine is just to say, and that's just that's a key point, we really learned that a digital marketing calendar always helps. The other point, and this is the 4th point, is you know what they say, content is king. But I think this one is even bigger. Data is Lord. That's what I'd call this point. Data is really the Pope, depending how you're looking at it, or Lord, right? So if you're not tracking your performance, right, then you don't know a thing about your business. You wouldn't know anything about your customers. So I think data is one of those things that helps you not just shoot in the dark. It helps you just sort of understand what's going on, and we've gone to great lengths as a team to understand our customer by gleaning data. Recently, we did a customer profiling survey. You can start with a survey because I think knowing who your customer is the most important thing. So we actually learned who the customer is. We now know, and then also there's data analytics that's happening. If you have an intelligent system such as ours, we use WooCommerce, it'll regularly tell you, the performance, against set KPIs, what needs improvement, what your revenue numbers are, and so on and so forth. I know it sounds mathematical, and I know it's this fear when someone talks about data, because it's really quantitative and analytics that's kicking in that you need to, but you need to do it. You need to make the attempt to learn the qualitative as well as the quantitative analytics that are happening. So currently, we're also logging all our offline orders on WooCommerce, just so that we can also get a better perspective of the total sales in a month. Before, we had sort of separate spreadsheets, an Excel sheet and what was happening online. So we didn't really have a clear lens, but now our data is all in one place. And I think that's important. So it may be complex, it may sound complex, but I think there are lots of tools out there where you can actually learn and know more about analytics, because understanding data is really what sets you apart, and harnessed well can really scale your business. Okay, so I'm on now the 5th point, right? The 5th point is an obvious one. It's obsess about your customer. This one we really love. So, before we were like, we don't have a physical shop. We don't need to bother with people. People will see us online and purchase. But I think that is not the best of attitudes, considering we're still in a market where e-commerce is young. So you'll actually get a lot of people calling in, dialing in. And what my advice is, let's indulge them, indulge them, help them make decisions. Most of the abandoned carts on the website is simply because perhaps someone couldn't make a decision, or perhaps they had a problem with the shipping. So the idea is just to pick up a phone and actually call them, because one thing I've noticed is that when you speak to them, you give your brand a human voice, right? And nothing beats that interaction. No bot, no machine can actually beat that interaction. So we have a fantastic customer care service lead who ensures all our customers are notified when they receive when we receive their order via SMS. and then an estimated time when they'll get their order, and even what to buy if they're stuck, say they're looking for a gift. We actually, of course, read that as abandoned cart. We actually still pick up a phone and do the cold call and tell them, hello, we actually have seen you were interested, but you haven't made the conversion. How do we help? So I think many a times when we've done this, we've really won. And it's very interesting to see that sometimes, sorry, sorry.
It's fine.
So sorry. So another thing that I'd like to mention about this point, and just to sort of finish off, is about this point is when what we've noticed is that we don't have a lot of unique customers, right? What we have more of is customers who are repeat customers, and boy are they loyal. They'll come again and again and again, and guess what? They make the best referees. They're genuine. They genuinely love your brand, and therefore they're able to share their experience and also refer their friends and family to your brand. So great things come when you just listen to your customers. And yes, your customers are always right. The sixth point is embrace innovation. Yeah. So I think this is the hardest because it means you have to continuously learn, right? So we didn't know a thing about SEO. We're learning. We learned a little. We're learning, and we still are learning. We wanted to know exactly when an order came through. We said we must know so that we're able to sort of do quick sort of turnaround times. So we installed an app. It's called Woo app, and it's on our phones. And I must say, we're happy that nowadays, in fact, my operations lead is like, it's an addiction, you know? We're addicted to hearing that ka-ching, that ping on the phone when every single time a shopper transacts on Shop Nanjala. So we've embraced technology because we feel technology is actually something that can help us be more efficient, right? And we've also partnered with Axis Africa, that integrates, it's basically a platform that integrates, it's an integrated communication app that allows us to broadcast information via SMS, email, and WhatsApp. So now we can communicate with our customers fortnightly or monthly, whether there's a sale or an announcement, we can do it efficiently, right? And we also have recently integrated PayPal. We've had customers in South Africa who perhaps prefer to use that as a mode of purchasing, and they've done it very easily. So on top of our M-Pesa and Visa MasterCard, we have now customers who are paying us via PayPal. And there's a very nice symbiotic relationship between PayPal and M-Pesa. So even locally, we can do the switch of currency. So just for this point, I'd like to sort of mention innovation is a growing thing. I'm one of those people who's a curious cat. We're eyeing Flutterwave. Flutterwave is a Nigerian platform, amazing. They have an API that allows payments across Africa. So of course, I wouldn't mind kwachas and Tanzanian shillings being a mode of transaction on our platform. And of course, we dream the day that we can also be able to accept Bitcoin in our stores, right? And the last point, because I know there's so much to share, please, if you have an e-commerce platform, hire the best and nurture them. We have fantastic, I think human resource is one of the biggest pain points, but I think hire slow but hire the best. And what will happen is you'll realize that they become your brand custodians. And if they really believe in your dream, they can take your business to unimaginable heights. I'd like to finish by saying thank you. That's all I had to prepare for you. I hope, you can pick up something from this. I'd also just like to say a little to CHARICOM and to ITC Ecom Connect to thank them, because we wouldn't have been able to express this without their help in the first quarter. Happy to answer your questions.
Thanks a lot, Teresa. It was just great. Really gave very straightforward tips. And yeah, from the first one to the last one, I loved all of them. So basically, content is key. I really liked what you said about data. Data is Lord.
Yeah.
You, like every entrepreneur, needs to have a good content calendar and plan ahead. And of course, it's important to put the customer in the spotlight. And you mentioned the word obsession, which is kind of true, I guess.
Yeah.
You need to really think all the time about how to improve the experience for the customer, to deliver the best products that overcome their necessities, and embrace innovation and technology here. So partner with innovative collaborators, as you mentioned, use new tools, be always there looking for innovative ways to optimize your online presence, and be there all the time focused on the new trends to be able to adopt them. And then obviously be like, surround yourself with a good team, a team that shares your values and the mission of your business. That's very important to work well together. So thanks a lot. I have a question. If well, let's give the floor first to the participants. um, I don't know if there is a question yet. No, it doesn't look like. We'll give them some time.
Okay.
I have a question regarding the e-commerce solution that you use. So you mentioned that you're using WooCommerce, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And why did you select WooCommerce to start with and not other platforms like Shopify, for example?
Ah, okay. So at the time I did, that was 2015. I really was, I was sort of, I was new, totally new. So it was sort of the first platform that came up. And I remember appreciating their theme. So what we used was a theme called Shopkeeper. And you can buy it off, I think it's called Envanto. And we just loved the theme. Actually, we picked to use WooCommerce because we loved the theme that we would skin to actually build our website off. So it was purely, we had never heard of the rest. I think I heard Magento thereafter, I heard Shopify thereafter. So I think for me, WooCommerce sounded great. And then the other thing that I loved about WooCommerce is that it could integrate with many other um, widgets, like for example, MailChimp. So meaning it was easy and it was also very user-friendly when I used it. I was just happy going with it. So I think it was just a question of I didn't have too much choice because I was learning about e-commerce, so I settled on WooCommerce.
Okay, great, great. Thank
Yeah.
you. And another question regarding the future of Shop Nanjala. So where do you see it going in the next 2 years? Are you looking to expand abroad? Are you looking to implement any
Yes.
other innovative idea?
Yes. Oh gosh, that's a really great one. It's a two-pronged question. So one is we see our brand in the short term. So I think I'll answer it in the short term and the long term.
Mhm.
In the short term, we currently have 10 or 15 artisans at the very most who partner with us. We're looking in the short to medium term to actually have more. So more, I mean like perhaps in the hundreds. I know that's gonna be chaotic, but to do because for every artisan we kind of vet them, but we feel gardening, the space of home decor is such a big area. We want to expand around that space, right? So there's so much more to explore, and we're always continuously onboarding new products. So that's one. The second part of your question is sort of where do we see ourselves in the future? Um, so why, sorry, let me go back to the last point. Why we see ourselves adding more products is because we would like to empower more artisans, because we've seen the benefit. They really are excited that, you know what, they have a new revenue stream, besides just waiting for people to shop by the roadside or in their workshops to buy or call them. They now have another way of actually marketing. So I think that's a big piece for us, because access to markets has always been a vision for us, for artisans, access to markets for artisans. But from a bigger scale, I think this is sort of what I'd love to hear and see is to see Shop Nanjala, New York, Shop Nanjala, Lagos, Shop Nanjala in other major cities around the world. Simply because I think Kenyan artisans have, there's a place for Kenyan artisan wares that are quite unique. We would like to actually sell this across. And even if it's not physically being in those locations, we would love to sell in those markets. So currently we're working with a consultant to sort of start preparing our paperwork to scale within East Africa, and then to the rest of the world. So because we feel the market here is sizable, but I think we also have an audience out there, and I think this, we see it on our carts, because most people are now shopping from all over the world, but they're buying it for a Kenyan. So for example, I live in Britain, I'm studying there, but my mom is here, I want to buy them a Mother's Day gift. They'll buy the item and it'll be shipped within Kenya. But we'd like to do it the other way around, where the mom is actually going to buy a gift for their daughter back in the UK. So I think for us, there's a lot of work to be done. One is to actually scale. So of course, scale and create this network effect so that many people are coming to our platform, because there's a lot of offering by onboarding more artisans. But there's also that other bigger piece where we really would like to scale and go global. Thank you.
Great, great. Amazing plans. I wish the best for the team. No, but it's always good to be a bit ambitious.
I know.
Well, Teresa, thanks so much for this session. It's been really great, awesome tips. And yeah, we also had good feedback there on Facebook. No questions yet, but we will also share this recording later. So in case anyone else has questions, feel free to post a comment and we'll answer them. So thanks a lot, Teresa. Thanks a lot, everyone, for being here today with us in our first session. And we are organizing a second session in May on the 19th, if I'm not wrong. So follow the ITC's Facebook page to hear more updates on that. And yeah, thanks again to everyone. Have a very good day.
Hi, we do have received a question from Facebook from Madad Khan.
Okay, right now, yeah. Okay, let's answer that before we close.
His question is, in rural area, for rural area women, how to play a role in e-commerce?
So that's a very interesting question. And it's sort of what we are doing with our artisans. And I'll answer it in two ways. The first one is they are actually, no, let me just answer it as I would know. We're actually playing that role where we're giving access to markets for artisans. So we normally get a lot of, requests via social media, or someone just picks up and call and says, I'm a weaver in Kisii, which is a certain region in Kenya. Look at my products. Here are the baskets. How can you help me? So that's sort of the piece that I think you're asking, where we actually help them, because they don't know how to market. They don't know where their customers are. They don't know even the value of their products if they just tweaked it a little. So we do sort of it's a journey. It's a full cycle where we do the meeting. We look at the product. Is it the right standard? etc, etc. However, to answer your question, in Kenya, and I'd say Kenya at large, we have platforms where you can actually self-onboard your own products onto marketplaces that actually provide the merchant the power to upload their products. I'll name one in Kenya. One that I know and I'm familiar with and I actually use because I love it, because it gives the merchant the power to actually remove or put their products there and change, is called Sky Garden, sky.garden. They have an app that they give to the merchant, and the merchant is actually able to sort of upload their photos in etc and sort of put their products and switch off the shop if they go on holiday, and then switch it on. So they are provision, but of course I must say that not every sort of rural artisan is savvy enough to even get onto Sky Garden. So Shop Nanjala is sort of the bridge where we sort of kind of vet and see if there are products that are aligned to our vision. We actually help them on board and do all the headache and the work, sort of packaging, marketing for them on their behalf. I hope I've answered your question.
Great, beautiful impact. I think, Skylar, we don't have any other question, right? That's all. So yeah, thanks again, Teresa, and thanks everyone for listening and being here today. So looking forward to our next session in May, and have a good day, all of you.
Thank you. Bye. Asante sana for listening from Kenya. Hello, the world, and goodbye and good night.
Bye.
Bye.